The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. I think
He missed the pit complete. That is crazy
As I
stuff.
said, Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He sliced through. He tags her. The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on.
Hello viewers and welcome to the UGXshop.com 200. This is round 7 in the Piston Cup series. We are bringing all the action to you live on YouTube and Twitch TV from Pocono Raceway at Long Pond, Pennsylvania in the USA. I am Richard Losper, your host, and with me in the broadcast booth we have Ayrton Ellis and Sean Ambrose, and our director today is Giancarlo Lenzi. Now, Ayrton, Pocono is a somewhat different track from all the normal oval tracks. Tell us a little bit about it.
Thanks, Richard. Pocono is also known as the Tricky Triangle or Bermuda Triangle, depending on who you talk to. And you're right, it is one of the most unique oval tracks, mostly because it's not actually an oval. In fact, it has 3 corners, which makes it a triangular shaped track. So these corners also have very different taste to them as well. Turn 1 is 14 degrees turn, slightly shorter than turns 2 and 3. Turn 2 has an 8-degree corner, and turn 3 is only 6 degrees of banking, so they all vary a lot. The track is actually quite large too, with 2.5 miles and 4 kilometers as well, and the main straightaway is actually one of the longest straightaways out of North American ovals, and this track also proves to be very challenging for most drivers and engineers because they have to set up their car for the changing bankings in different turns, which becomes very difficult just for the drivers as well, because they all vary in their different challenging ways.
Thank you for that, Ayrton. Now, we are in the qualifying stage of the race. There are still some cars who have to finish their qualifying laps, and they all are allowed to do 2 laps within the 10 minutes of time that is allotted for qualifying. But I want to go to Sean now. Sean, this track, tell us some of the trivial facts that you know about this track. You know a lot about all these different tracks.
Yeah, well, Pocono Raceway, been around for a while. Completed the track in '71. Used to host IndyCar races, what they consider the Triple Crown of the 500-mile races. It was the home track to Mario Andretti, who battled guys like A.J. Foyt, Al and Bobby Unser, Johnny Rutherford, the greats in Indy racing. NASCAR started running there, and Richard Petty soon became a favorite there as he won a lot of races there as well. You know, it's a very historic track right there in the Pocono Mountains. Very beautiful setting for racing. Some interesting facts about the track, a little bit of trivia that we'll come back to at some point, but ISC and SMI are 2 of the major owners of tracks on the NASCAR circuit, well, we'll get an answer to a trivia question a little while about that, wanting to know which one owns that. And each turn on this track is modeled after 3 different tracks, and we'll want to know from you guys on social media which track that might have been.
I wonder about that as well. Some very interesting facts. Thanks for that there, Sean. So the car that they're using, of course, is the Nationwide B car, Sean. And that car should be pretty good at this track, perhaps better than the truck or slightly slower than the Gen 6 car.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good track. Is for this car. We've found that the B car has quite a bit of grip, and you're going to want a lot of what they call forward bite going into these difficult turns on this track, because if you don't have it, you're going to be really loose, and you're going to find one of those walls, and those walls are not soft, regardless of what NASCAR may say.
Okay. All right. Well, everything is set up for a good race. The qualifying session has got about a minute and a bit to go. Ayrton, let's have a look at the championship really quickly. It's starting to look very interesting, bearing in mind, of course, that this is the penultimate race, race number 7 out of the 8 races of the series.
Yeah, well, at the moment, Fabian Dejean has really proved that his consistency is helping him out a lot. He has a 28 lead ahead of Tim Wyan, and right behind is also Dennis Garrison in 3rd, Rudy DeVitt in 5th, 4th, Roy Visser in 5th, Neil Heckens in 6th, Joey Schmidt in 7th, Pascal Dickerson in 8th, and Jarno Pannekeet in 9th, and Kim Van Stickelen in 10th. There's still quite a lot of drivers, but we don't have much time to go through all of them. But we do have 5 winners already this season: Fabian Dejean, Neil Heckens, Rudy DeVitt, Joey Schmidt, and Jarno Pannekeet. But we do have some drivers that really showed some good consistency. Haven't quite gotten those wins yet. Those drivers include Tim Wyan, Roy Visser, Dennis Garrison, and Maxim Reinstein as well.
Yeah, fantastic. So this is going to be a very, very important race, obviously, for the guys near the front. Guys like Dennis Garrison, they would want to have a good finish here. Rudy DeVitt as well, to have a shot at the title. So qualifying is just about finished. I'm pretty sure that with only a few seconds left that everyone will have completed their qualifying lap by now. So why don't we take a look at the leaderboard as we see the pace car actually coming out now. So take us through the first 10 or so there, Ayrton.
Yep, so Rudy DeVitt, no surprise, is on pole for this race. Right alongside him, though, is Fabian Dejean, our championship leader. We've got Pascal Dukers in 3rd, Tim Wyan in 4th, Maxim Reinstein in 5th, Joey Schmidt in 6th, Roy Visser in 7th, Bob Van Katwijk in 9th, Pascal de Burke in 9th, and Neil Heckens in 10th. And
in 11th place, we've got Jarno Pannekeet. Looking for a good race from him. Dennis Garrison, who we just mentioned, is in 12th place. Eric Mulder in 13th. Jos van Hoorn in 14th. Denny Rats in 15th. Kim van der Stickelen in 16th place. Johan Sommers in 17th place. Nick Thyssen, a bit of a surprise there, in 18th place. Jeroen Ursem, the organizer, or one of the organizers of this race, is in 19th place. And in 20th place, we have a Victor Elsenaar. Sean?
And in 21st, we have Joost van der Stoep. In 22nd, Robert de Rouge. Richard Cortland in 23rd. W.J. Rensenbrink in 24th. Hank Ahrens in 25th. W.J. Vandenbrand in 26th. Robert Witt in 27th. 28th, Mark Figueres. And rounding out the field, in 29th, Nano Vanderpool.
Well, 29 cars in this race. A couple of the cars right near the bottom there, Ayrton, did not have a qualifying time. So Robert Witt, Mark Figueres, and Nano Vanderpool did not qualify. But we'll have to see whether they are actually on the racetrack at this point. It looks like they are. So for some reason, they couldn't get in a qualifying time. But the stage is set for the race. The pace car has taken off, and the race will start very, very soon. This is quite a long track, so it'll take the pace car a little while to go. Meanwhile, Ayrton, there's a long line of cars that have just come to a complete stop and not taken off at all.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the pace lap will take a really long time. That should come into play later on when we have cautions, because having those long cautions will definitely make things interesting with fuel saving. So a lot of these guys might be thinking about that for fuel strategy.
Yeah, and I'm seeing some smoke there. So this is on the pace lap. We have a car off the track already. So this is not a good sign for the start of this race.
Yeah, I think that was the 28 at Rensenbrink. Took a spin into the turn there.
Yeah, anyway, we'll go to the front of the field and we'll get ready for a start. I will get you, Ayrton, to call the start as usual. We are coming around. I believe that might well be the final turn now. Rudy de Wit is in first place. Alongside of him, Fabian de Jong, two of the really fast guys here on this track. So actually now we are coming up to turn number 3. So Ayrton, why don't you take it from here?
Thanks, Richard. On the other hand, do any of us have any votes or picks for this race?
Hey, real quickly, guys, Rensenbrink has left the race.
Ah. All right, my pick for this race, Fabian de Jong.
John?
You know what? I'm going to go with Maxim Ramstein.
He did show some good racing last race at Richmond. So now the pace car is going to get coming off right now. Rudy de Wit staying a little farther back from the pace. They're going to get the green flag right now. This is a very long stretch, so getting that good run is going to be important. Fabian and John pulled a little bit back, allowing Pascal and Dukers to get run on the inside. Rudy de Wit already goes to the outside. He has a nice amount of space, and they're already doubling up, going into turn 1 now, and Pascal Dukers sent on the inside. Fabian and John went really deep into the corner, trying to hold that outside, and meanwhile, Tim Vine is working the outside as well. Do you see anything in the back?
Yeah, kind of a mad scramble in the back right now. We almost got yellow before the race even got started, but Elsinore is kind of leading the charge of this back pack right now, and everybody is still underpowered.
And once again, it seems, Ayrton, that Rudy de Wit did get a really good start. And in fact, it's Fabian de Jong now leading this race. He's up in front. So what happened to Rudy de Wit? I am a little bit surprised that I don't see him up near the front. Let me just click on him. No, he's leading this race. Fabian de Jong in second place, Ayrton.
Yeah, Fabian de Jong managed to defend that second place position, but Tim Vine worked himself up from 4th place to 3rd. Pascal Dukers, but Pascal Dukers looking on inside of turn 1. Tim Vine goes very deep, and right behind them is also Maxim Reinstein giving some pressure as well. Pascal Dukers manages finish the pass off. Tim Vine lost a little bit of time sliding up, and now he's got pressure from Maxim Reinstein on the inside as they head into turn 2.
Yes, and they are side by side at this point. Maxim Ramstein does have a better line going into the turn there, so he will take that position from Tim Vine. Tim Vine had to give way there to the guy on the inside. Now Tim Vine takes the inside and he's looking to take the position back, but backs out of it there, Ayrton, because it's still very, very early in this race. But he's got a challenge on from behind him from Joey Schmidt in the nomoneyforpaint.com car, the very dirty car there.
Yeah, it seems that running that outside line, at least at the moment, it looks like they have caution now right now as well. But as I was saying, the outside line seems to be a little bit of a struggle in turns 1 and 2, but in turn 3 it looks like a good line to run if you're defending. So that might come into play later on to the race when it comes to different passing techniques.
Well, we have the first caution for the day. Did you see what happened there, Sean?
I did not. I don't think it was at the back of the field, as that's where I'm at right now. Honestly, the pack was spreading out, as I suspected they would. It's an easy track to spread out on. So I'm not sure where it happened.
Yeah, I'm just running through the field at this point in time. I don't see any reason why we could have had the caution. But nonetheless, the caution has been called. And unfortunately, we will now have some long caution laps to deal with. Ayrton, this is an 80-lap race, so why on earth do you think people will go hard in the first couple of laps of a race?
Yeah, I think I found where the caution was. Robert Roy in 24th place, he was battling with Judd Cortland. He actually just got a little loose on the exit of turn 3. Tried to counter steer and save it, but ended up snapping around and hitting the wall. So he's got some bad damage there. But I don't think that was aggressive driving, just a driving error right there on cold tires.
Yeah, I'm looking at Robert DeRoy now. He has got damage on his car. Racing Lions teammate there, car number 79, a sort of white and black car. So he's driving around with some damage right now. These guys, I believe they do have spare cars, so he should take the opportunity, I believe, to come in and get that damage fixed.
Yeah, he one free repair.
Yeah, he had trouble on the opening lap. Robert did. Got in the wall right on the first lap, so I think maybe his setup hasn't come in yet, obviously.
Yeah, he's certainly struggling. Now he is in last place, 28th place, so 28 cars are currently in the race. Our leader is Rudy de Wit. We're used to seeing Rudy de Wit out the front there, Ethan.
Yeah, he seems to definitely have some of the best pace in the series, as he is the only driver with 2 wins. He had some bad luck in the early parts of the season, at 10th place in the standings at one point. We were talking about that before the race, but he's managed to slowly catch up to Fabian Nijaan for that championship, and it's going to be tight to get it in these next 2 races. And it actually looks like he's looking to head into the pits. No, he's not. He's just faking it, fooling around a little bit.
Yes, he was on the infield lane there, going towards the pit entry. Feinted to go into the pit entry and then didn't. We're getting some information from our director, which I did not catch. What was that? And we have got information that Johan Sommers got turned around just in front of the pit entry on the pace laps. So we are now still on the pace lap, on pace laps. The pace car is out there. The lights are still on, so we will have at least another lap, if not 2, to go before we go back to green flag racing. So at this point in time, let's hope that this caution, Sean, will settle people down and we can get back to the racing.
Yeah, let's hope so. I'm looking at the replay of what happened to Summers in the 74, and he spun all by himself. I don't know if he made a hard left to get into the pits and it just whipped around on him, but he narrowly avoided hitting the inside wall and then took her in the pits. But yeah, let's hope this settles down. This is a real easy track to spread out on, and I think it would bode well for a lot of these guys if they just kind of let that happen. And these turns are really tough to race side by side, and with 80 laps, it just doesn't make any sense to try and win the race here early.
Yeah, now, Sean, you did quite a number of test laps around this track. The tires that these guys are using, do they take a little while to bed in, or can they go hard from the first lap?
Nah, you really want to get a little bit of heat in these tires for this track, because the turns are so flat. As I mentioned earlier, that forward bite, that grip is so important, and without some heat in these tires, there's just no grip at all. It's like riding on glass.
Okay. Well, so we've had a couple of casualties. Robert DeRoy, I do notice now, has got his car fixed there, Ayrton, so he's good to go, albeit he is currently in last place, or second last place, as we see guys probably ducking into the pits there. But let us hope that on the restart we will get some good green flag racing. I don't see any reason why these guys can't do long stints under green, because this is a fairly wide track and there's a lot of space for everybody, but it is a very high-speed track, Ayrton.
Yeah, just to note that a few drivers went into the pit this race. Obviously, Robert DeRoy had to fix his repairs, but also Mark Figueres, Richard Cortland, and Jarno Pankey, one of our top 10 drivers. We noticed that last race he actually had a fairly interesting pit strategy that kind of bit him in the back near the end of the race. So hopefully he doesn't repeat that. And he's just trying to play it safe. I noticed that some of his pit strategies seem to be quite interesting in some of the races.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about the pit strategy. Obviously, with 80 laps, Sean, they're not going to be able to go through on one uh, uh, fuel tank. So the pit strategy will be very important.
Yeah, I would say with the length of this track, in the early portion of it, if you've got a yellow flag, come on in, get fresh tires, because tire wear is going to be heavy, and get your fuel and play that strategy early on. And then as the later stage of the race occurs, and maybe you've got enough to make it and get some position to your advantage by waiting.
Right. Okay. Well, in that case, Jano Panic probably made a correct decision because he's come in. Did you note whether he took some tires there as well, Ethan?
I'm not sure, but I would imagine I'm not sure. They only ran about a lap on their tires, so he might have just been stocking up on fuel.
Well, we can tell you folks that the lights are out on the pace car, and that means that on the next time by we will have a restart. Now the top 5 drivers at this point in the race are Rudy de Wit still leading, Fabian de Jong in second place, so he will have the outside of Rudy de Wit on the restart. Pascal Dukas is in third place. Maxim Ramstein has moved up into fourth place. Now Maxim qualified in fifth place, so he has moved up a spot there. And Joey Smith in the 77 car, the car that has the driver has no money to put on a decent paint scheme, as he says, is in fifth place. So over to you, Ayrton, because we are about to get a restart.
Yeah, one thing to note is that the leading driver, Rudy de Wit, actually has the choice to start on the inside or outside. And if you choose the outside, then Fabian de Jong would be put on the inside line. And I actually know some people that prefer starting on the outside. On this track, they prefer that outside line entering turn 1. So maybe some drivers might try that out during this race, but we'll have to see.
Okay, and the guys are now approaching turn number 3, I believe, so we will get a restart when the pace car ducks in. And yes, they are now coming around that final turn, so get ready, hang on to your seat belts, because we are going to have a restart, and let's hope we have a green flag, a long green flag stint, and that will make life very interesting. Ayrton?
Yep, as they're starting to line up a little closer to the pace car than last time. As the pace car starts to duck in, they're going to get the green flag. Rudy de Wit accelerates. Fabian de Jong gets a much better start than he did last time, but Pascal de Berg is closing it in. They actually both got really good runs. Rudy de Wit did not get the start that he wanted to, so Fabian de Jong nose ahead on the entry to turn 1. He's going to try to work that outside line. He loses a little bit of time on the entry to it, and Maxim Reinstein right behind also slides up quite a bit. He lost a little bit of time to Tim Wyan under him. Meanwhile, Rudy de Wit managed to close the door in front of Fabian de Jong, get that first place position with Pascal Dukers. Now freshen Fabian de Jong on that inside line, but he decides to back off.
Yes, I do note that Pascal Dukers did back off quite significantly there. And we have another yellow flag. We have another caution. This is trouble. Not good news, Sean.
Trouble at the back of the field. Yeah, big trouble. Car spinning all over.
Yeah, we're getting a replay now of that situation. It seems some real bad action at the back there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, we had several cars involved. The 11 and the 14.
Car, looks like the 14 car got turned there.
Eric Mulder got turned around, and with him we had the 11 of Juice Van Horn, also Joost Van Horn. Pretty bad wreck. A lot of cars involved. The 5, the 51, the 27, all involved in that.
Okay, well, not such a great start to the race. We are now facing another probably 4 or 5 minutes of pace laps. So why don't we take a short break, and we will come back when we are ready to start racing again under green. Welcome back, folks, to the UGX-shop.com 200 here at Pocono Raceway. And we are still under caution at this point in the race. This is the second caution. So I think hopefully, guys, that they are shaking out all the dust a little bit now and getting all the cautions behind them. And hopefully we'll have some green flag racing. But Sean, run us through what happened in that previous caution.
Yeah, real quickly, the 14 Eric Mulder just got loose going into the turn all by himself, and unfortunately that just caused the accordion effect. He collected Joost van Hoorn and Mark Figueres, Robert DeRouge, everybody, the 79, the 26, the 09, everybody got caught up in it. Everybody behind him, tried to make an evasive move, and not a good place to make an evasive move there in the corner. So tough break for several guys there at the back.
Yeah, well, hopefully a lot of the guys were able to get into the pits. We did see quite a bunch of pit stops happening during the caution, so everyone's got their damage fixed. The one good thing about a long caution is the fact that you've got plenty of time to get any damage fixed in the pits there, Ayrton.
Yeah, as they're starting to line up, we have 1 lap to go till green, so none of the top runners actually went into the pit, so they're waiting a little bit, probably hoping for another caution near the actual proper pit window that they're hoping for.
Well, yes, indeed. And we are now on lap 12, and there are 80 laps to go. So a whole stack of racing laps to go still. Of course, with these cautions, Ayrton, everyone's saving fuel at this point.
Yeah, so that should definitely spice up pit strategy, as we did see there were a couple fast drivers such as Jarno Panicky, who did pit earlier on, but it didn't feel like it would have much of an impact. Pitting in the first few laps won't make that much of a difference. Yeah,
that's correct. Now, I just want to have a look at the championship contenders here. So Fabian de Jong, who's leading the championship, Ayrton, he's in second place. So at this early stage of the race, he's looking pretty good. Tim Vyan, who's in second place in the championship, he's in fifth place, and Dennis Garrison, the third place guy in the championship, is in seventh place. So all the top championship contenders are well in line for good points if they can continue like this to the end of the race, as we see the pace car now coming around the final turn as well.
Yeah, and Rudy de Wit, even though he is ahead of Fabian de Jong, he's going to really have to hope for Fabian de Jong to make some mistakes in this race in the finale as well for him to have a chance at the championship. So now we do have the guys coming out of turn 3 at the moment. Pace car is going to go into pits any moment now, staying a little farther back from the pace car. Going to get the green flag. Let's hope that Fabian de Jong gets a good start. In fact, he actually gets a very good run next to Rudy de Wit. He did not get the run he wanted to. And Pascal Dukers and Max Reisen, the whole pack is right on them, very close. They're almost 4 wide in that third place position. They all back off a little bit, but all mixing up. Double file. Rudy de Wit manages to get a lead out of them all, but double file 2 lines wide. They got Fabian de Jong on the outside, defending that second place position at the moment. Richard?
Yes, and I'm looking at this point at the 0-0 car of Dennis Garrison. Now, he's moved up a little bit. He was in 7th place, 2-4-6. He's still in 7th place. He did have some challenges happening there. At one point, he was looking to the back of the 08 car of Tim Vyan, but he's backed out a little bit. We've noted that Dennis Garrison is a fairly cautious driver in the beginning stages of a race, preferring to hang back and making sure his car is whole for a charge towards the end of the race. But everyone nicely in single file at this point. Sean, what are you seeing?
Well, I'm still watching the back of the field here, making sure we don't get any trouble. Right now, cars are starting to spread out. It looks like everybody's under control so far.
Well, that's good to know at this point. So we are in the second lap of a restart here. Rudy de Wit, Sean leading, but now we've got Pascal Dukers in second place. So Fabian de Jong has dropped back a bit.
I believe Pascal's still in third, but actually I want to mention Maxim Reinstein. He dropped back to 6th place after starting in 4th place on that restart. That whole bunch up in that 3rd place position managed to knock him back, though he is challenging Joey Schmidt, that 77 car. He's gone to the inside now, trying to challenge him as they go through turn 3, but that outside line works really well from turn 3. Joey Schmidt does have the draft of the car in front of him, which is Tim Wine, so he's going to be able to defend that position, but Maxim Reinstein not having the best restart he wanted.
Absolutely, and Joey Schmidt got really close to the wall there coming out of turn 3. In fact, he touches the wall now just prior to going into turn 1. So he's having a little bit of problem. We've got Maxim Ramsden right behind him trying to take the position from him, but backing out in the critical part of the turn, which is probably wise. But now behind Maxim is Dennis Garrison, Ayrton, on the inside of Maxim.
He tries to go in turn 2. Maxim Reinstein breaks a little bit late. He might be able to defend that position. This isn't allowing the guys behind to catch a little bit. They lost a little bit of time to Joey Schmidt, but now Bob Van Catfake is right behind these guys. He's moved up a little bit in the past few laps.
Yeah, the 43 car is running pretty good. He's in 9th place at this point in time. Everybody spreads out. Joey Schmidt has a big bubble there, and he's going to lose a whole bunch of positions there, Ayrton.
Looks like he got a little loose, or maybe touched the wall on the exit of turn 3 there, which is really going to cost him. Yeah, in fact, he did get loose, which that's really a problem that a lot of these drivers are having on the exit of turn 3. It's really easy to overdrive the car and almost spin it. It's a good thing that he didn't overcorrect and hit the wall, but it looks like we might have a caution now.
Yeah, guys, the 74, Johan Summers, off the track, coming out of turn 4 into the inside wall.
Okay, so that is caution number 3 inside of 16 laps. Now, we're going to get a replay of the incident that caused the caution. We're on replay right now as we see Johan Sommers there in 28th place, mind you, Sean, at that point in time, getting loose all by himself, coming into the corner and spinning the car and going all the way to the inside. He wasn't on the racing line, so I'm actually wondering why they bring out the caution flag there.
That is odd, Richard. Yeah, I'm surprised the caution came out. He was at the rear of the field, and there wasn't anybody else involved, and he was down below the line. It's inopportune time for the yellow to come out. He just got loose and probably got back to the throttle a little too quick coming off that turn.
Yeah, as we did say previous to the race, that this track can catch you out because it's very high speed. Even though the track is wide, on the face of it, you would think, Ayrton, that should be easy to get around you. But obviously, these guys on cold tires not taking enough caution getting around the track.
Yeah, and it's similar to what we mentioned before with setup. These guys have to find a setup that works well for all 3 corners of this track, and as we know, these 3 corners are all very different, so a car might be set up to work very well through 1 and 2, but then be really loose in turn 3, as we've seen some of these guys get very loose in some of these corners, so it's really difficult to get a setup that works for all 3 corners consistently.
Well, that's very true, and also the other factor that comes into play, drivers have to be aware that the banking even is different on each of the corners. So you have different shaped corners, and then, Sean, you also have different banking on the various corners. So a very difficult track indeed.
Yeah, and we were talking about long caution periods earlier. It's also a good opportunity to mention our sponsors, UGXshop.com. They are your one-stop shop for all things sim racing, and go check out their site, UGX-shop.com.
Indeed, and that's a little bit of a mouthful, UGX-shop.com, and they're great sponsors. This is, unless I'm mistaken, this is the 2nd race that they are sponsoring, so they are great supporters of the series, and we do ask you to go and check out their web shop and buy a few things from them, because they certainly are great sponsors of this particular series. Well, Ayrton, we once again circulating. I'm pretty sure that if you're a driver, say you're Rudy de Wit or Fabian de Jong sitting there, What are your feelings coming into the third caution of a race? Are you relieved that you get a chance to just not race and just go around slowly, or are you annoyed by the fact that your racing has been held up once again?
I don't know. I think it depends on, especially for Rudy DeVitt, I think it depends on how he feels for his pace compared to these guys. I think if he feels like he's quite a bit faster than these guys, he's going to want to have a nice long green flag run so he can get a gap. And with all these cautions, it's just closing the gap that he creates every time. But for these other guys, if they think that they might not be able to keep up with Rudy DeVitt, then these cautions give them a chance to keep on pressuring him. So it could work either way. But just to mention that this is our first caution with the lucky dog coming into effect. That's Nano Vanderpool. He's going to get a free lap around and get back onto the lead lap.
Oh, well, that's great news for him, no doubt. Well, the current standing in the race is Rudy DeVitt is still leading. He's in the number 8 car, a white car with some blue trim on it. He's been doing a great job, virtually leading every lap of this race so far, and we are 18 laps into the race. Now, Fabian de Jong has been shadowing him in the 24 car, also sort of white and blue. And he certainly is not out of contention for a win here, because being in second place, you basically got as much clean air as the leader. Pascal Ducas is currently in third place in the 96 car, a yellow car. And he's been looking pretty good, Ayrton. And Tim Vian in fourth place. He's got a black car. He's the 08 car. And he's being sponsored there by the looks of it by Fanatec. Or he's certainly carrying the Fanatec logo on it. A nice looking car, black in color. And then in fifth place, we've got Maxim Ramstein. Sixth place is Dennis Garrison, and then some of the other guys as well. Dennis Garrison's got a very colorful car, the 00 car. Maxim Ramstein is the number 3 car. Rockstar Energy Cola is his poison by the looks of things. So we are going to be getting ready for a restart. No, sir, the lights are still on the pace car, which means we'll be going around at least another lap. So while we have a caution here, I'm pretty interested, Sean, to know the answers to those questions you posed the viewers.
Sure, love to talk about it. Well, okay, so we said that the turns were modeled after 3 different tracks, and those tracks being Trenton Motor Speedway, which is no longer there in Trenton, New Jersey. Unfortunately, it closed down in the early 80s, but a very historic track in the Northeast for modified racing, NASCAR racing. And the second track is Indy. The tunnel turn, if you will, is modeled after Indy. And then Milwaukee, home of the famous Milwaukee Mile, where a lot of drivers have cut their teeth over the years. And then, also we talked about, we asked ISC and SMI were owned most of the tracks in a NASCAR circuit. Which one owns Pocono? Well, the answer is neither, as Pocono is owned by Matco Incorporated, which is an independent corporation that has owned the track since its inception. And that is an oddity on the NASCAR circuit, as most of those tracks are all owned by the International Speedway Corporation and Speedway Motorsports Incorporated.
Well, now, thank you for the answers to those questions. By the way, Sean, I believe your daddy used to race at the Trenton track and loved the track back in the day.
He did. He was a big fan of that track. My father used to run open wheel modifieds. It's the now known as the Wheelin' Modified Tour in the Northeast and down the Eastern Seaboard, and he loved Trenton. Raced along some of the most famous drivers in modified history, Richie Evans, Charlie Juzumback, to name a couple.
Fantastic. Well, the lights are out on the pace car, Ayrton, so we will get a restart as they come around the final turn once again. Let us hope we'll have a long green flag stint that we've all been wishing for. So over to you, Ayrton.
Yeah, and just to mention that the top 5 guys are actually in their qualifying positions, but then in 6th place, Dennis Garrison, he started in 12th place position, so he's moved up a lot and having a really good run so far.
Yeah, I do like the way Dennis Garrison races. In the early races, he started from way back in qualifying. I don't know whether that was deliberate or not, but certainly always managed to finish up in the top 10. And looks like this race may be no different. So I'll certainly be keeping an eye on him as the pace car is getting ready to duck in there, Ayrton.
Yeah, pace car for the 4th time is going to head into the pits. We got Rudy DeVitt going to get a better lead than last time. Meanwhile, Fabian DeJohn has been left sleeping. Tim Byen giving a lot of pressure, shooting to that inside. Meanwhile, Pascal Duker is going to look to the inside, and they're going to go 3 wide, just barely. Fabian DeJohn is stuck in the middle in that 24 car, but he managed to get through Tim Byen on the outside in that 08 car. And he's still trying to get past Pascal Dukers on the outside. Pascal Dukers did start in 3rd place, so Tim Byen had a good run. But now Fabian DeJohn defending that inside line for some reason from Pascal Dukers. He seems quite threatened at the moment.
Yes, Pascal Dukers is going to make that pass stick, though. He's now moved up into 3rd place, having restarted in 4th place, as we also have a move from Fabian de Jong on Rudy DeVitt there.
Yeah, Rudy DeVitt was very slow out of turn 2. Fabian DeJohn managed to have an optimistic move on that shot to the inside. He's now on the inside on the exit of turn 3. Pascal Duker's also got to run 2, and they're going to go 3 wide along the front stretch. Rudy DeVitt on the outside. Pascal Duker shooting to the inside. Looked like he's going to be able to have the good line for that turn 1, while Fabian DeJohn backs off a little bit. Rudy DeVitt going very hard into the turn as Fabian DeJohn slides up. He's going to lose that position now to number 3 car, Maxim Reinstein.
Yes, some very hard racing in the early stages of this restart. Maxim Ramstein now has moved up into 3rd place. Tim Vyen now on the 24 car of Fabian de Jong as well. Fabian's going backwards there.
Yeah, for one optimistic move for that 1st place position, he manages to lose 3 more positions in 1 lap. So he really made a risk and lost out on that, now sitting in 5th place at the moment.
Well, they seem to be settling down into those positions, so let's find out from Sean how the guys at the back are doing.
Well, it's been sketchy. We've got cars loose, falling back here. W.J. Vandenbrand is having trouble. He's way off pace. Kim Vanderstickelen just slapped the wall, but is still under power. The 42, Denny Rates is having trouble today. He just doesn't seem to have a setup under him that he likes as he's continuing to fall back as well. And we're used to seeing him run a little bit better than that. So, yeah, it's interesting back here. I just hope it doesn't breed another caution. It would be nice to settle in and get a nice run here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you there, Sean. Well, we're driving along with Fabian de Jong at this point in time, or at least I am. Fabian de Jong now in 5th place, Ayrton. He's got a bit of work to do as he's coming under threat, really, from the car behind him, which is Dennis Garrison, the 00 car. So all of a sudden, from having great runs in the first couple of restarts, he's struggling a little bit right now.
Yeah, he seems to have been a little set off his rhythm after that mistake on the exit of turn 3 2 laps ago. So he's definitely struggling at the moment. But now with Pascal Dukers in 2nd, he is pressuring Rudy DeVitt for that 1st place position. And in fact, they actually have a little bit of a gap, about half a second to the guy in 3rd, Maxim Ramstein. So they're running really good. Pascal Dukers is showing some really good pace.
Yeah, he must have a great liking for this track. Rudy DeVitt still leading, but certainly pressure coming from from Pascal Dukers at this point in time, which is allowing Maxim to catch up to these guys. And Tim Vyen behind Maxim just sitting in and having a good look as we see Pascal Dukers making a move on Rudy DeVitt there, Ayrton.
Yep, he shoots to the inside, got a little bit of draft on.
And another caution.
I think, yeah, Rudy DeVitt was just ahead on that caution. If the caution came out a couple seconds later, Pascal Dukers would have had that lead for that caution.
Well, look, we are now, this is caution number 4, I believe. We are on lap 25 of 80, so they haven't completed a third of the race yet, and have got 4 cautions. So this caution will take us another 5 minutes or so. So I believe it might be a good time for us to take a short break, because we don't want the viewers to be watching the guys going around during caution laps. I do believe, though, Ayrton, before we go to the break, that we should be seeing a lot of the guys ducking in again to take perhaps fresh tires and more fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. This is pretty much the pit window for these guys.
All right, well, we'll take that short break and we will be back with the UGX Shop 200 as soon as we get some green flag racing once again. And we are back in the UGX-shop.com 200, where we are on caution number 4. Now, we should only have one more lap before we get the restart. Rudy de Wit still in the lead of this race at this point in time, Ayrton. He's been doing a really good job staying out there, but Pascal Duca seems to me is starting to feel his oats and challenging, and a really good run from him too.
Yeah, definitely. Right before that caution came out, Pascal Ducers almost got the lead. So a few seconds later, Pascal Ducers would be sitting in the front at the moment, but just missed out on it. But he's definitely showing some really good pace. I mean, the whole top 5 is showing really good pace at the moment.
That's correct. And hopefully this time, Fabian de Jong, who has been in second place for most of the race, or all of the race really, he's now back in 5th place. So he must be thinking to himself, well, what do I have to do to get back up there? And he certainly has the pace to do that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he had a little mess up while trying to compete with Rudy de Wit, but hopefully he can get back up there because he definitely has the pace. Just made a little bit of a slip up, and that's the problem with this track. You make one slip up, and you've got this whole train of cars behind you, and you lose so many positions, and that's what we saw with Fabian de Jong.
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of the action or the problems that people are experiencing seem to come in turn 3 there, Sean. That is a very difficult turn.
It is, and in the cause of our most recent caution here, it's a tough turn to get off of, and throttle management is everything, and having that grip that we talked about earlier. If you're not set up to get some grip in that car, you're really going to have trouble getting through turn 3. And as we've seen already, it's wreaked havoc on this very short race so far.
Yeah. Anyway, we are on the final lap. They will go green. The pace light, the pace car lights are out. Just real quick, having a look at some of these back markers here. Jeroen Ersum in the 51 car has a really colorful car, and it seems to be sponsored by Barbie. Tell us real quick about that, Sean.
Yes, Barbie, product of the Mattel Corporation. Our friend here, Jeroen, running that. Jeroen, known as one of the jokesters here in the series, very funny guy, running this paint scheme for his daughter. What a sweet thought.
I like it very much, and you can see, you can see the color or the colorfulness of the car. But we are getting ready for a start once again. So let us go back to the front and to Ayrton Ellis to call this 5th restart. And we have a problem. So somebody in the back or near the or somewhere in the pack has caused a problem, which means we are not going green. The pace lights are back on again. Did anyone see what caused that, Sean?
I did. W.J. Vandenbrand. I just don't know what's going on with him here in this race. The number 76. He just stopped on the inside line there and just stopped the car and then disappeared from the track. Not sure what's going on.
Well, he's not showing as being on track at the moment, so it could well be that he's got an internet problem, and that caused so we shouldn't be too harsh on him because that could well have not been his fault. Sometimes we are on the internet, as everybody knows. We depend on the internet for our sim racing. So if there's a problem of any description with our internet, that's also the end of our racing, Ayrton.
Yeah, and we've always seen a lot of guys have trouble with that. Fortunately, these guys are all Dutch drivers, so they all have about the same amount of connection ping, as we call it, which is your connection status. So these guys should have fairly decent connection, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
All right, well, the lights are out on the pace car once again. We are going to re-attempt to do that start. As we said, this will be the 5th start of the race here, and they are coming around the, well, they've got a fairly long section to go still before going into turn 3, and then we will have the restart. So the current standing, Rudy de Wit still leading this race. Pascal Dukas looking good in second place. Maxim Ramstein has moved into third place during the previous stint, and Tim Vine and Fabian de Jong make up the top 5. So Eden, here we go once again. Try attempt number 5 for another restart. Let's hand over to you once again.
Thanks, Richard. And it's going to be the first time that Pascal Dukas actually starts on the front row, though he is stuck on the outside as the pace car goes in. Rudy de Wit controls the field as he gets a really good start off the line. Doesn't even wait for the green flag to go, and Pascal Dukas is stuck, and Maxim Reinstein going to go on the inside. Rudy de Wit already has a huge lead, and Pascal Dukas under threat from 3 drivers now: Tim Vine, Maxim Reinstein, and Fabian de Jong as well. He's struggling on that outside, but managing to hold it a little bit. Looks like he's going to be able to defend it as they exit turn 1.
Well, I tell you what, that did take the other drivers by surprise. Rudy de Wit, the moment the pace car ducked in, as he has every right to do, Sean, he just took off like a bat out of the proverbial hell.
Yeah. And we got another spin here in the back of the field.
And is that going to bring out another caution? I believe it might. We have a yellow flag once again. So yet another caution in this. This is incredible, and certainly spoiling the race for us here, Ayrton.
Yeah, we do have Tim Vine, who managed to take advantage of that. He managed to get a position on Maxim Ramstein for that 3rd place position. So now Tim Vine, who's also teammates with Rudy de Wit, he's going to manage to get up to 3rd place position now.
Well, and the other thing that I noted was that Fabian de Jong in 5th place in that restart. I like to keep an eye on Fabian because he really is one of the truly fast guys here, along with Rudy de Wit. He made no impression whatsoever on the leaders. The action was all in front of him in the front. But let's go back to what caused this caution. We're getting a replay from our director right now. Talk us through that, Sean.
Yeah, Roy Visser got loose in the turn, took a hard spin and a hard shot. Dead straight onto the wall. Lots of damage on that car. I don't know if he's going to be able to get that thing back in good shape on this track today.
Well, yes, I am looking at the 50 car now. He's in the pits. He's taken tires. The car looks pretty solid once again. And we're getting another replay. Roy Visser, who is one of the good drivers, he did touch the car in front of him by the looks of it there, Sean. And then all of a sudden he was into the wall, and that was a really hard hit indeed.
Yeah, I guess I didn't see the contact quite like you did. I guess maybe he's using up his reset here, and he'll be able to get back out with a good clean car. But man, that was a shot he took into that wall. Hope he's not in a motion sim.
We should talk briefly about the fact that these guys do have spare cars. So in iRacing terms, what that really means is they call it a fast reset, which means that really, if this were real life, you would have an opportunity to wheel out your spare car and get back into the race. Now, they have one of that, unless I'm very much mistaken. Is that right, Sean?
Yes, JSF has been using the one reset, and I'm assuming that Roy Visser is taking that reset here on this stop.
Yeah, I'm looking at his car right now. It doesn't seem to have any damage, certainly not on the rear. And if I go and have a look at the front, no, sir, he has got severe damage still on the front. So that was not a reset for him. He did not get the spare car, so he must have used it up in a previous accident there, Sean.
Yeah, that's not going to bode well for him. I don't think there's really any amount of repair that's going to fix that. Watching that replay alone gives you a really good idea of just how hard he hit that wall. And like I said at the beginning of the race, regardless of what NASCAR says, those walls are not very soft.
Well, I believe they are made of concrete, so I have yet to see anybody make soft concrete.
Yeah, that's correct. I don't believe that product is currently available on the market.
Well, Ayrton, we are introducing a little bit of levity into the broadcast here, but that was really funny about the soft concrete. Rudy de Wit still leading this race, so I'm Rudy de Wit right now, and I feel that if I were him, I would be really annoyed by all the cautions. It's spoiling the race at this point, don't you think, Ayrton?
Yeah, I feel a little bad for these front runners at the moment. They're all racing nice and clean and making a really good race. And we have had some really good racing that's lasted a few laps, but those cautions definitely make some time to breathe for these guys. Just to note that our Barbie man, Jeroen Ursum, got his lap back, so he's now back on the lead lap in that 26th position.
Yeah, and the only two guys, which is very interesting because of all the cautions, it's been rather easy for everybody to get back on the lead lap. There are only two cars showing as being not on the lead lap, and that is car number 74, which actually that is my preferred car number 74. Johan Summers, he is 2 laps down, and W.J. van der Brandt, who may well be out of the race. I think he is out of the race at this stage. He's not showing as being on track. Johan Summers is on track, so we've lost one driver so far out of the 28, which is pretty good, given that there's been so many cautions, Ayrton.
Yeah, and just talking about the guys in the front, we should also be keeping an eye out on the guys that are fighting for the championship. There are those guys that are running out the front, but there's a few of them that don't really have much of a chance towards the championship. And since we've only got 2 races left, the championship's looking to get really close. At the moment, Tim Vine is in 3rd place, and he's in 2nd place at the champion, and he's 2 positions ahead of Fabian Dejean. So at the moment, he's set to really close in on Fabian Dejean in this race.
Yeah, that's a very good pick there. Quite important to note. Tim Vine at this point is 28 points behind the leader, which is indeed Fabian de Jong. So if he can finish well ahead of Fabian de Jong, which is early days. I mean, we are on lap 34. We have not completed half the race yet. So there's plenty of time for Fabian to make up the places. Like, he's not out of it. He's in 5th place. And that's only a few car lengths back from the leader on a restart. But certainly Tim Vine is ahead of him. And if he can maintain that, then he will catch up some points. Dennis Garrison is... Where is Dennis at this point in time? I'm not seeing. Can anybody pick where Dennis Garrison, who is the 3rd place in the championship at this point, I'm not seeing him anywhere near the front there.
Dennis is he's in the pits right now. He's going into the pit. He's on the pit lane coming through, and is currently in 24th place. Showing he's coming out of the pit now and getting back up onto the track surface.
Gotcha. Right, I'm with you right now. I see him. He's down in 24th place, the 0-0 car of Dennis Garrison. Obviously, he's pitted because he was sitting in about 5th or 6th place prior to the restart. So that's a strategy move. Let us hope that it works out for him, because he is going to be right at the back of the pack there. The only car, on few cars behind him will be Roy Visser, which are a damaged car. So a very risky strategy there, or a good one, Ayrton?
Well, I actually don't. I'm sorry to interrupt, Ayrton, but you know what? He didn't stop. I'm watching the replay right now. He didn't stop to get a drive through the pits.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I think Roy Visser and Dennis Garrison, they've done this pretty much every race so far. They like sandbagging during the race and they're just sitting in the back, and then in the second half of the race focus on catching up to the front. So they just pit every caution and fill up on fuel, get new tires, and just chill out in the back for the first half of the race. And then they focus on actually getting to the front. I've noticed that they keep on doing that strategy, and it's worked so far for them, because Dennis Garrison, he's gone in the top 10, 5 out of 6 races, so it's definitely working for them.
Yeah, well, Roy Visser is not going to have the same luck. He's got a severely damaged car, particularly on the front end. That left side looks to be pretty second-hand.
Going green.
And green flag, was it? Go ahead.
Yeah, Rudy DeVitt leading them away. Got a really good start once again. Pascal Duker's got not so bad this time. He hasn't been threatened that much, but right behind them, they're going 3 wide. Fabian DeJean in the 24 car is going on the inside of Tim Vine and Maxim Ramstein. He's looking to try to gain that position. He shoots in front of Tim Vine, but Maxim Ramstein defending that high position, and now Tim Vine's looking to sit behind Ramstein to try to defend that position from Fabian DeJean. He's looking hungry to get back up into those top 3 positions.
Absolutely, and he made a good attempt there, but it's kind of faded out now. He's back in 5th position once again. In front of him is Tim Vine. Tim Vine fighting hard, using the outside line there to maintain his position in 4th place at this point. But he did
another
lose
car
one
on the wall, guys. Another car on the wall.
Car in the wall. I'm hearing information from Sean. Tell us about that, Sean.
Yeah, it looks like the 09 in the wall again. More trouble for Nano Vanderpool into turn 3 hard.
Doesn't look like the cautions come out, though, because these guys are still racing very hard in the front.
Well, Nano Vanderpool has gone straight into the pit. He's on pit lane as we speak right now and getting into his stall. So it looks like we still have green flag racing. This is great news for the guys up front, and we can get back to it. The 08 car is now in 2nd place, Tim Vine. So 3rd place, sorry. Tim Vine fighting very hard, and just behind him we have Fabian de Jong and, sorry, I'm wrong, Maxim Ramstein behind him, and then Fabian de Jong. So pretty much the top 5 staying in position and fighting amongst themselves. But getting right back to the front, Ayrton, we still have Pascal Dukas pressuring Rudy DeVitt pretty hard.
Yeah, these guys have managed to get about a 7/10 of a second of a lead ahead of these guys because they've been battling. So Pascal Dukers and Rudy DeVitt, they've been sticking to each other and trying to get a gap from the other guys, and then they could be on their own and secure those top 2 positions for at least this running of the green flag. But at the moment, Maxim Ramstein is being pressured by Fabian DeJean on the inside. 24 cars going on the inside, going to turn 2. He's going to secure that position fairly easily. So Maxim Ramstein in 2 laps loses 2 positions now.
Yeah, that's right. Fabian de Jong actually the big mover at this point in time as he challenges the 08 car of Tim Vine. These are your 2nd and 1st place in the championship. They are fighting each other as we speak right now, going down the front straight away. We've got the car of Maxim Ramstein getting in there as well. A 3-way battle here, Ayrton. This is good stuff.
Yeah, Joey Schmidt in the 77 car has managed to catch up to this field, start battling with them as well. And not too far back is actually Neil Heckens. He's managed to get back into the top 10. He's in 7th place at the moment. We didn't see much of him during this race because he pitted a lot earlier on, but he's back up and he's gotten much more fuel in his tank than the rest of these guys. So he's looking good at the moment.
Yeah, that's fantastic. The Racing Lions driver, number 41 car of Neil Heckens. We'll stick with Neil for just a second as we see actually our director's got us on Joey Schmidt at this point in time. A great shot of Joey Schmidt there from the front of the car. These guys are battling hard, but whilst they are doing battle here, Ayrton, the 1 and 2 positions of Rudy DeVitt and Pascal Dukas are disappearing into the distance.
They've got about a 1.5 lead ahead of Tim Vine in 3rd place at the moment. So they're definitely running away with this. And Pascal Duker's not really passing Rudy DeVitt. He's giving him pressure, but not making any moves, even though he's been getting the run. So I think he's starting to think strategically, trying to get that gap ahead of the rest of the guys.
Guys, some interesting developments here at the back of the field. Bob Van Catbike off the track. Not sure what happened to the number 43 there, but he ran off the track, down into the grass, saved it, got back up on the track, lost several spots, down at 22nd right now. Interesting thing on that last restart, Dennis Garrison, as the green flag dropped, he ducked into the pits, stop and go. I wonder if maybe he had to serve a penalty, but he has fallen way off pace and showing about almost 31 seconds behind, down to 23rd in the 00 there, Dennis Garrison.
Well, now, folks, we have ourselves a couple of battles going on here. We've got Rudy DeVitt and Pascal Dukas way out front, And then we've got a second tiny little pack here, being Tim Vyan and Fabian de Jong, your championship leaders and second place. And then behind them, Ayrton, we've got Joey Schmid trying to catch up to them, which he seems to be doing right now, and Maxim Ramstein as well. So the top 6 at this point, make that 7 with Neil Heckens coming into the picture as well. Let's have a look at Jarno Panekit. No, he's way behind. So really the 7 cars, we've got the 2 out front, and then we've got a pack of 5 cars going head to head and battling for the 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th place and 7th place. So this is developing into a good battle here, Ayrton.
Yeah, and actually those front 2 runners, Pascal Dukers and Rudy de Witt, they are teammates. And actually Fabian de Jong and Joey Schmidt are also part of that team as well. So they've got 4 teammates in the top 5. So they're having a really good run. Obviously that setup is working well for all those drivers. And that's probably why Pascal Dukers and Rudy de Witt have been working well together. But meanwhile, Fabian de Jong managed to get back up to 3rd place position past Tim Vyan. So now Tim Vyan is still chasing that championship points positions. They've now created a gap because Joey Schmidt, Maxim Ramstein have been battling side by side for the past lap.
Exactly, I was going to come to that. We have a great battle here between the number 3 car of Maxim Ramstein on the inside and the number 77 car of Joey Schmidt on the outside. Joey seems quite happy to run that outside line, or perhaps he's being forced on the outside by Maxim Ramstein, but a great battle. Ramstein appears to we see Joey Schmidt, Ayrton, switching to the inside, so he wasn't happy on the outside there. Now he's got Maxim Ramstein on the outside.
That was a really good move by Joey Schmidt. It gave up the position on entry turn 1, managed to make the cut over to the inside, and succeeded in passing Maxim Ramstein. So very good move by Joey Schmidt.
Yes, and now Maxim Ramstein has to try and get that back as Maxim Ramstein attempts to go to the inside. Joey Schmidt's got him covered this time. He's hanging on to that inside line himself as they come onto the front straight away on lap number 43, going into lap number 44. So great battle here, and this is for the 5th and 6th place position. And going, and we have a yellow flag. I am hearing a caution flag coming out once again.
Yep, as the number 79 around again, Robert DeRouge. Tough luck today. Just not having much success here today.
Yes, we do see the number 79 car, Robert DeRouge, who is just in front of the pit entry, and his car has spun around. He's now getting into the pits, but too late. The caution has come out already.
And a familiar storyline developing there at turn 3. Once again, just got loose, couldn't hang on to it.
Now, guys, it's quite amazing to me that we're having so many cautions here. It's understandable, let's face it, but we've been on much shorter, tighter tracks than this, and the guys have managed with less cautions. I believe this is caution number 5, so quite a high number of cautions on such a wide track. Can anybody offer a suggestion or a reason why this is happening?
Sure, I can. I tested here for 2 hours Friday night, and I tore up a lot of equipment. These turns are tough, and it's impossible to set the car up for every turn. You've really got to decide where you want to sacrifice your setup, where you want to be good, and where you're going to just have to accept being bad. And you hope you make the right choice, but obviously for some of these guys, they didn't. And I understand it. I couldn't get a handle on it myself. So there you go.
Okay. Well, yeah, we've kind of spoken about that again. I'm just trying to confirm why these things. I am personally, I'm a very cautious driver. I'd probably be in position number 29 of these 28 drivers if I were racing here. But I tell you, it is difficult. But I don't quite understand it. I mean, if you don't have a handle on a track, you just make yourself go slower. Don't try and go faster than you can go. That's my outlook on things. How about yourself, Ethan?
Yeah, I agree with that actually. And as we've seen, most of the spins actually appear in the guys farther back in the field, which normally represents that they're a little less experienced or a little less skilled. And actually, now we are actually seeing most of the front pack going to the pits. Besides, actually, Joey Schmidt, who's actually staying out, so he's going to inherit that first place position. I'm wondering if he pitted earlier during one of the other cautions, but now we've got most of the leaders of the race, Rudy DeVitt, Pascal Dukers, Fabian Dejean, all heading into the pits right now.
Yes, certainly the top 4 guys, and no doubt a bunch of other guys. We're getting some information there. What was that? And we just got information that Maxim Ramstein missed his pit box and had to double take to get in there. However, he's come out, it didn't hurt him too much. He's lost a couple of positions. Cars come out ahead of him in the pit, so not too great for him, but not too damaging either. So I noted there, Ethan, that all the guys took tires, and no doubt they've topped up with fuel. So they've all got brand new equipment virtually in terms of fuel and tires ready to go.
Yeah, and some interesting position changes as well. Rudy DeVitt did keep his position, but Pascal Dukers lost positions to Tim Vian and Fabian Dejean. Fabian Dejean managed to switch up to right behind Rudy DeVitt. So a little bit of switch mix up between those drivers, but now Rudy DeVitt is still in front of these guys, but they do have I'm still curious about Joey Schmidt. He was one of the front runners in that previous run, and he managed to stay out. So I'm wondering how long he's going to be able to run on his fuel and tires, and if he's going to be able to hold the same pace as these guys if he has older tires.
Yeah, this is quite interesting now. Joey Schmidt is a genuine leader of this race at this point in time. But behind him, there are a couple of lapped cars in Mark Figueres and Johan Sommer. So these guys will probably duck into the pits. There you go. They are ducking into the pits. So that will rectify things once again. So then behind Joey Schmidt now, we will have the genuine guys who were in those positions. So a little bit of a change-up is going to be really interesting now. Tim Vine has lost a couple of positions, and a few of the other guys have shuffled around. So the pit stop has changed things, but we'll see as they get closer to the restart what is going to happen. But certainly interesting developments right here.
Yeah, guys, Pascal Dukers in the 96, he overshot his pit box and bumped him down to 6th, and that's exactly why he fell off just a bit. Every little second counts.
Indeed, it does. And I'm waiting for these guys to cross the line so we can get the standings proper. But as far as I'm concerned, Joey Schmidt is our race leader at this point in time. He's followed by Rudy DeVitt. So Rudy DeVitt's still up there, Ed, and he certainly has run the perfect race, almost leading or now in 2nd place. And Fabian de Jong is now in 3rd place. That is extremely good for Fabian, no doubt. Tim Vian, who is the challenger for the championship to Fabian de Jong, is in 4th place. So, Eden, these guys are in a good position at this point in time. We are on lap 47 out of 80, so 30 laps still to go. A lot of tough racing to go, but certainly the people who want to be near the front are at the front.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see. I think this is going to be Fabian's chance to get ahead of Rudy DeVitt, because Rudy DeVitt's going to be starting on the outside now, and as we've seen already, that the outside line can prove to be a disadvantage, because the guy on the inside in that first place position will be able to choose whenever he wants to go. So Rudy DeVitt's going to be able to be threatened by Fabian Dejean, because he's going to be right behind Joey Schmidt on that inside line. So this is the chance for Fabian Dejean to try to get ahead of Rudy DeVitt and possibly use that to his advantage later on into the race.
Well, that is a very good call there, Ethan. The inside line certainly works best here for most of the drivers. We saw that with Joey Schmidt, who was being forced on the outside by Maxim Ramstein, and actually gave up the position, ducked to the inside, and then challenged for the position once again and got away with it. That was just before the caution came out. So some good racing was taking place there. But yeah, Fabian de Jong sitting in a very, very good position now. On his outside is the '08 car of Tim Vyan. These are the two top contenders for the championship. I am very, very interested to see how they will fare. Rudy de Wit simply has to win to have any chance at the championship. He's 37 points back from the leader, which is Fabian de Jong. So a lot of very interesting issues that must be going through these drivers' minds as they are going around this track. Bearing in mind, this is the second last race of the series. And do we have the lights out on the pace car? We do indeed. So there will be a restart, and it will be Joey Schmidt-Etten who will take these guys off on the new on the restarted lap.
Yes, and Joey Schmidt is going to be our first leader besides Rudy de Wit, which is kind of a surprise since we did not see him that much near the front of the pack. So we're going to ride with Tim Vyan on the restart for this race. He's sitting in 4th place right behind our previous leader, Rudy de Wit. So you're going to get a nice view of how Rudy de Wit's going to be able to manage this restart alongside Joey Schmidt.
Yes, we are indeed on board with the '08 of Tim Vyan. Very interesting view he has got of Rudy de Wit in front of him. And next to him, where you can't quite see that at the moment, you just see the front, the front portion of the car is in fact our championship leader, Fabian de Jong. And the green flag has flown, Etten.
Yep, Joey Schmidt goes, space car dived into the pits. Rudy de Wit actually getting a really good start on the outside, but now Fabian de Jong, the 24 car, shooting to the inside. He wants to be able to get that advantage on Rudy de Wit as they go into turn 1. Joey Schmidt actually loses a little bit, it backs out. Rudy de Wit shoots to the front straight away, had a really good run through that first corner. Now Tim Vyan, who we're on board with, is going around Joey Schmidt. Joey Schmidt is really struggling on those tires. Everyone else who's pitted has those fresher tires.
That's correct. Fresh tires will always outdo worn tires. As we see now, he's going backwards rapidly. In fact, he's been overtaken by a whole bunch of drivers, Joey Schmidt. And we have yet another caution, I understand, from...
That was Jeroen in the 51. Got loose and into the wall.
And we will get a replay of that. It's the Barbie car of Jeroen Ursem. Unfortunately, got into the wall. We're driving with him now, the number 51 car, a pink car. Kind of has to brake hard for someone in front of him. He's way out wide. He can't control the car. The 51 car goes into the wall, and that brings out our 6th caution. He also gets collected by another driver and is spun around like a helicopter, really, and now manages to get into the pits. But that is the 6th caution for the day. And on that note, folks, we might take another break and come back to the UGX Shop 200 when we get closer to green flag racing. Welcome back, folks, to the UGXshop.com 200 at Pocono Raceway. Do visit the UGX shop. They supply all things to do with sim racing. Their website is ugx-shop.com. So go and have a look at what they have there, and if you feel in a purchasing mood, go right ahead. Now we are driving with Denny Rates, who, having started from somewhere near the rear of the field, has got to a point here where he is in 9th place, Ayrton. So that's a pretty good run from Denny.
Yeah, he started in 15th. We saw that earlier. He was having some trouble. He got caught up in, I think he was one of the early spinners and dropped back near about position 20th. He's now in 9th place, so definitely having a good run, and hopefully he can keep that consistent as we have about 27 laps to go in this race. So hopefully he can keep up there, maybe come out with a top 10 finish.
Yeah, well, we'll keep our fingers crossed for Denny. He has been a useful and fairly consistent driver in previous races. The lights on the pace car are still on, so I think they've just gone out now, so we will get a restart on the next lap. Now, Ayrton, it seems to me that these guys now on lap 53 will have enough fuel to finish this race. So if we can get some green flag racing in, then it could be a pretty good run to the end.
Yeah, with the amount of cautions that they've had, they definitely have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. So this final stint's going to be on raw pace, and I'm definitely curious about Joey Schmidt. Looks like he did pit in this previous caution, so he's now in 18th place. He's going to have fresher tires now, so hopefully he can catch back up into the top 10, but I think that was a little mistake of a decision not pitting on that previous caution, because it did set him back a lot.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you mentioned that, because you may think that I've pitted 10 laps ago, my tires should be okay, but there is nothing like a fresh set of tires. Even 2 or 3 laps in on a harsh track like this, Sean, it will count, even if your car's only done 5 laps, and the guys come out on fresh tires. They are going to beat you, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. This track is really hard on tires. It doesn't take long to run those things off, so every little advantage helps. And if that means taking some fresh ones, some fresh Goodyear Eagles, get back on the track and go hard.
Okay, well, we are going to get a restart. Director, can you put us in the number 3 car of Maxim Ramstein in the 5th position, and we'll watch from his position what happens on this restart. So they're coming around the final turn now. Over to you, Ayrton.
Yep, as they're piling behind the pace car for about the 6th or 7th time, we're going to have a restart. Rudy DeVitt leading them away. Fabian DeJean getting a nice recovery from his previous restarts right alongside Rudy DeVitt. Behind them, they got Pascal Dukers, and a little bit of a gap to Tim Vian behind them. But Fabian DeJean on that outside trying to get that position on Rudy DeVitt, still stuck in 2nd place. He's still on the outside line, lost a little bit of time. Now he's under pressure from Pascal Dukers.
And we are watching the action from we are on board with Maxim Ramstein, who is in 5th place. He's on the outside. What you can't see is that he was a brief challenge came there from Neil Heckens. Neil Heckens running a great race, having been way back in the field at one point and back up with the front runners right now. But Maxim Ramstein, Tim Vian just behind him. Maxim Ramstein, we're still on board with him. He has got Pascal Dukers in front of him, and then Fabian de Jong and Rudy DeVitt. So he's in a very, very useful position, as we see now. Tim Vian, Ayrton, coming on the inside of Maxim Ramstein. So he's trying to take that position from him right now.
Ramstein did make a little bit of a bobble on the exit of turn 3. It slowed him a little bit down on that front stretch, but he's still on the outside of Tim Vine. He's challenging really hard. They've got Neil Heckens closing in behind them as well. Ramstein manages to defend that position, but with all this battling, they've let the top 2 drivers, Fabian DeJean, Pascal Dukers, and Rudy DeVitt, get about a half-second lead ahead of these guys, so they're running their own race now.
Guys, interesting development here towards the back. The number 72, Richard Cortland, out of shape and off the track. Got a little help from the 11, Jos Van Hoorn. A little contact, and then off Richard went, and no flag.
Interesting. So one wonders what's governing the flags. But we're going to jump back into the front there where Pascal Dukers was making a move there on Fabian de Jong. He backed out of it, but still threatening. And we saw from the previous run, Ayrton, that Pascal Dukers was coming to grips with this track and actually challenging Rudy DeVitt for the lead at one point.
Yeah, Pascal Dukers is not afraid to make any moves, and I'm sure that he's eager to get ahead of Fabian DeJean, but it's making it difficult because Fabian DeJean on these long straights has the draft from Rudy DeVitt, so any run that Pascal Dukers manages to get is going to be lost because Fabian DeJean just managed to get that speed from Rudy DeVitt's slipstream. So this is a really difficult situation for Pascal Dukers at the moment because he has the pace and he wants to get ahead, but he just can't.
Yeah, correct. And we might make mention of the fact that Rudy DeVitt is in 4th place in the championship, so it's critical for him to win this race. Fabian de Jong, on the other hand, he's in leading the championship. He's in 2nd place at the moment. If he finishes there, that will be pretty useful for him. He probably will still be the leader of the championship. But of course, guys would like to win rather than to come 2nd, and he'll be fighting tooth and nail with Rudy DeVitt, who Ayrton seems to have been really the consummate driver in this race. He's come to grips with this track. He's led almost every lap.
Yeah, Rudy DeVitt has definitely proven to be the driver to beat at most of these races this season, and definitely bringing it up in the second half of the season, having some really good results. But right now, Pascal Dukers is actually right on the rear of Fabian DeJean. He's going to get a run, go on the inside. Maxim Ramstein has managed to catch up to these guys as well. But as I said before, Fabian DeJean still has that draft from Rudy DeVitt. But Pascal Dukers in that orange car is going to get the inside for turn 1. He's going to dive onto the inside. Fabian DeJean trying to defend. He manages to defend well. And now a caution is out once again.
Yes, we do have. It looks to me like we're seeing a car coming into the pits there. That's Johan Summers. Seems like, Sean, the same people are causing the problems all the time.
Yeah, it's at the back of the field, and those poor guys are having trouble. I wasn't watching at that time because I'm watching Dennis Garrison, and guys, he had fallen all the way back to the end of the lead lap, and look where he's at now. Creeped up into 9th place, and now he's got another yellow flag to close the gap and maybe get back into the hunt for a top 5 today. Pretty impressive run for old Dennis Garrison.
Yes, indeed. And we've seen that Ayrton made mention of that fact actually earlier on, that Dennis Garrison in a lot of the races would start way back and always manage to get himself up into the top 10 at least, and sometimes or most times probably the top 5, because he is in fact 3rd in the championship, 29 points back from the leader Fabian de Jong. So he's done a terrific job virtually every time. And we're watching the faster guys here at this particular track, Pascal Dukers being one of those. These guys are only, Pascal Dukers, the 96, is only in 8th place in the championship, Ayrton. So even though they're showing, or Pascal is showing a fair bit of speed right here, obviously he hasn't been consistent at all the tracks.
Yeah, and it's a similar story for Maxim Ramstein. He's shown some very good pace on it, especially recently at Charlotte and Richmond. He was battling in the top 5 consistently, but he hasn't committed to all the races. He hadn't showed up to all the races, so I think he's only showed up to about 5 of the 4 or 5 out of the 6 races so far. So he's quite a few points back.
Yeah, that's correct. If you don't, they are allowed to drop 1 race, I believe. So if he's not shown up for 2 races, then that will have shot his chances to pieces for any position in the championship. But then again, you know, some guys are not really interested in winning the championship. They want to show up and have fun at the tracks that they like. And obviously, Pascal Dukas is one of those guys. He really likes this track. And Maxim Ramstein is not even showing in the list of 15 top runners in the championship. But he's doing a very, very good job here, sitting currently in 4th place in the race. So a great race from him, Pascal Dukas as well. But hard to go past the top 2 there, Ed, and Rudy de Wit, Fabian de Jong. I really take my hat off to these guys. These guys have, in every single race, they've shown what they can do.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking back to the first races of the season that we covered at Michigan. These were the 2 fastest guys and were consistently in the front, and it's coming back to this now. Fabian John wasn't having the best last few races, but now he's back on track. He's been fighting for that first place position all race long.
Yeah, that's right. And we just seen the 91 car of Henk Arendse get a wave by, so he'll be able to rejoin at the rear. The pace lights, the pace car lights are still on, so we have at least another lap to go. But talking about these top 2, really, I mean, Rudy de Wit, in every practice and in every qualifying, virtually, he's been number 1. So one would have expected that he would be leading the championship as well, Ayrton, but that is not the case. He is actually in 4th place. So he's had some bad luck along the way in the championship, certainly, and in some of the races, because he, being easily, well, or closely the fastest guy in virtually at every track, still hasn't done enough to lead the championship.
Yeah, you're right. He has had that lack of consistency, and not always his fault. He's just been caught in the wrong places at the wrong time for a lot of accidents that have happened, mostly in the first half of the season. The second half of the season, he's really brought it together. He's managed to avoid those accidents and managed to finish consistently really good position. So he's definitely bringing it back for the second half of the season. It's really showing that he could be a championship contender, but he is 37 points back, so it's going to be a real challenge, especially since Fabian John is really strong at the moment in this race.
Yeah, that's a good call there. Well, let's put the cameras on Dennis Garrison. Now, Dennis has been up and down in this particular race, currently sitting in 8th position, and that is not a bad position to be in right here. Some of the contenders up ahead of him. Now, let's just have a look. So, Neil Heckens is higher up in the, or lower down in the championship than Dennis, but ahead of him right now. Tim Vey and Fabian de Jong, these guys are ahead of him in the championship as well. Roy Visser, on the other hand, he is just about out of this race. Or no, he's not. He's in 14th place, but he's ahead of Dennis Garrison. He's behind Dennis Garrison, so he is not really going to be a worry for Dennis Garrison. I'm just looking at Dennis's chances of maintaining his 3rd place position, and I'm thinking, Sean, is looking good for that.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know what? I think Dennis has got a really good shot to get up front here. He was moving well through the field just before that last caution. He's got plenty of car left. I would not be surprised to see him back up towards the front, challenging for one of those top 5 positions before this thing is over.
Well, we shall see, because we are on lap number 61 out of 80, and that means that there are going to be less than 20 laps to go around this place. So 2.5 miles or 4 kilometers times 20. They've still got a fair bit of racing to do, but certainly the laps are winding down, Ayrton, and guys will be starting to think now. They all know they've got enough fuel, but they'll be starting to think, my gosh, do I have enough tires to carry me to the end of this race? So strategy can still play a large part, especially if there's another caution.
Yeah, and those guys that have been battling for the past green stint, definitely aren't gonna have to worry about those tires because they probably were burning and outrunning the outside line a lot. So the guys who weren't battling that much, such as Rudy DeVitt, he's just been running alone. Really, no one to worry about. I mean, like people to worry about, but he hasn't been racing side by side. So his tires will probably be a little bit better than some of these other guys.
Well, that's right. And, the guys who've probably by now, after 60 laps, learned to be really smooth. And seems like Sean Dennis Garrison is one of those guys. Those guys will start to come into their own now. Bearing in mind, somebody like Dennis Garrison in 8th place, he's only sort of 5 car lengths from the lead. Isn't that right?
Yeah, you're spot on with that assessment. He is, and like I said just a moment ago, he was moving up through the field really well, and he didn't make any changes to his car on this yellow flag. So I expect him to get right back on point and make his way up through this field like he's done here over the past 20 laps or so. I think Dennis has got a really good shot here.
Okay, and real quick, Ayrton, before the restart, one of the guys we would like to mention as well is the car number 27, that blue car of Jarno Panakit. You fancied him as a pretty fast driver as they get ready to do a restart. He's now up to 7th place, so he's got a shot as well in this race.
Yeah, I think he does have a shot, but we did see at Richmond that he does struggle with his tire management. But we'll see how that comes into play for this final restart. We've got about 20, about 18 laps to go. Yep, 18 laps to go. Pace car goes in. Rudy DeVitt gets another good start. Fabian Dejean on the outside. He looks pretty good for second place. His Pascal Dukers did not have as good of a run, but behind them they've got a lot of 2 wide action. Actually 4 wide a little farther back with the 84 car of Pascal de Burke shooting on the inside, 3 wide into turn 1. He's about in 13th place at the moment, but in front of them there's still a lot of 2 wide action between these guys. The top 4 runners have already gone single file, but Neil Hecken's being passed by Tim Vine as well.
As we see them really running some good laps near the front there, good times, good racing with each other. The problem has always been around the back, Sean, so let's hope when these guys get to turn number 3, they can get through there cleanly around the back.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know. They're racing 3 and 4 wide here at the back right now. These guys on the lead lap are really, really fighting to try and stay on the lead lap for 1 and 2, get to the front. But I don't know if it's worth wrecking the car and bringing out another caution at this point.
Well, let's get back to the front because the action is really hot at the front there, Ayrton. Maxim Ramstein. He's gone past Pascal Dukers by the looks of things. Pascal trying to get on the inside now. He's on the back. This is Ramstein. He's on the back there of Fabian de Jong. But now we've got Pascal Dukers, the 96 car, on the inside once again. So these guys are racing real hard right now.
Yeah, Rudy DeVitt already has about 0.4 of a second lead ahead of Fabian Dejean right now, and he has to keep it that way if he wants to get the win of this race. These guys are battling a lot right now. Tim Vine now on the inside of Maxim Ramstein, and they're going 2 wide through turns 3 as they enter the front stretch once again.
Gosh, Tim Vine squeezed Maxim there, very, very close to the wall. But Tim Vine moving really, really well at this point in time. Here comes Maxim again on the outside. Maxim seems to be comfortable on the outside line there, or perhaps he's being forced onto it. I don't know, but certainly Tim Vine trying to get on the back there of Pascal Dukers, who in turn is trying to get on the back. He is on the back. Pascal Dukers moves to the inside there, Ayrton, making an attempt on Fabian de Jong.
As we come to turn 2, Pascal Dukers on the inside of Fabian Dejean. That Fabian Dejean might struggle a little bit on the outside. He does have a good run, but Pascal Dukers does have a nose ahead. He looks like he's going to be able to have a comfortable position for turn 3. Meanwhile, Rudy DeVitt is still just getting that lead bigger and bigger ahead of them. And Pascal Dukers now shot in second place. We saw his speed a little much faster during the middle section of this race, and hopefully he can reel in Rudy DeVitt and try to make a challenge for that lead, but it's going to be a tough challenge with about 13, 14 laps left.
And we still have a battle just behind them with Maxim Ramstein and the number 8 car of Tim Vine. Tim Vine currently on the inside has managed to keep Maxim Ramstein at bay, but we saw Maxim Ramstein in the previous lap charge to the inside and then just go straight by Tim Vine. So this time Tim Vine he was alongside Maxim Ramstein, but now he's lost that position, and now he goes or thinks about going to the inside once again. Decides no, he'll stay on the back. Maxim Ramstein really good through that. I think that is the final corner, turn number 3. Although he goes a bit wide there, and Tim Vine now has an opportunity to attack him once again. And behind them, coming up really fast, Jarno Panakit, Neil Heckens, and Dennis Garrison at this point still not making his move. He's still just quietly sitting behind these guys. So some good racing happening here. But Ayrton, Rudy de Wit certainly in command of this race at the moment.
I'm not so sure about that. Pascal Duker closed down 3/10 in that last lap on Rudy de Wit, so he's closing him in, and Fabian Dejean is sitting right behind as well. So this can come down to the last 10 laps. Pascal Duker definitely has the pace, and he's looking to close in on Rudy de Wit, hopefully making a challenge in the next few laps.
And Sean, it seems like the guys around the back of the track are behaving themselves somewhat better than before.
Yeah, things seem to have settled down. There was an interesting race going on between Roy Visser and Mark Figueres there for a couple of laps, but they've spread out. Now Roy is giving Jos Van Horn a little trouble, but amazing after that shot that Roy Visser took earlier in the race to bring out a yellow flag. He's he stayed somewhat competitive, and he's still on the lead lap. So probably going to pull out a top 20 finish here. But, yeah, things have settled down back here, and I think we can focus a little more on that race up front at this point.
Okay. And just a quick note about Roy Visser. Roy Visser is 5th in the championship, 41 points back from the leader. So he's going to be hurt by the results of this race if he unfortunately finishes in 20th place. But getting back to the front there, it looks like you were correct, Ayrton. Pascal Duke is making enough time on Rudy de Wit.
And this is definitely going to be a time for Rudy de Wit to worry, because Fabian Dejean is right behind Pascal Dukers. And if Pascal Dukers makes a move on Rudy de Wit, that's going to give Fabian Dejean the opportunity to make a move as well. So Rudy de Wit is this time to push, but lap by lap, Pascal Dukers has been closing in by a few tenths every time.
Yeah, and championship must be in the minds of all these guys up near the front. Pascal Dukers is in 8th place, and it is absolutely critical for Rudy to win this race, as we've mentioned before, if he has any chance of contending for the championship in the last race, because he's got to cut off some of that 37 points that he's back from Fabian de Jong. Fabian de Jong sitting in 3rd place wouldn't be that worried, I think, at this point in time. He's still going to lead the championship after this race, regardless of what happened in front of him, if he manages to stay in that 3rd position. However, it's 69. They've gone 70 laps down. They will be going into lap 71, which is 10 laps to go, Ayrton. So it is down to the wire right now.
Yep, another 10th cut down from Pascal Dukers. He's 2 tenths behind Rudy de Wit, virtually on his bumper right now. Rudy de Wit seems to be losing a little bit of time in that turn 1, and we see that Pascal Dukers closing up that draft is really helping him. He's also created a little bit of a gap to Fabian Dejean behind, so it's really between Rudy de Wit and Pascal Dukers at the moment, and Fabian Dejean is just a spectator in this battle.
And you know what? A little further back, we mentioned Jarno Panakit. He's moved up into 5th place. He's passed Tim Vine. Tim Vine now sitting in 6th place. And Tim is vulnerable at this point because he is in 2nd place in the championship. So we've been keeping an eye on the championship pretty much all race long. Tim Vine has got to finish better. He's got Maxim and Jarno in front of him, which these guys are not contenders for the championship at this point in time, or certainly they're further back. But if they get ahead of him, he's going to lose a lot of points, and it will hurt his chances in the championship. So back to Pascal Dukers versus Rudy de Wit. What's happening there, Ayrton?
He's on his bumper right now, actually pretty much touching his bumper as they enter turn 2. He's not turn 2 is not the best passing opportunities. He has to wait until he can get a run. As he's getting a run right now, he might look a little bit to the inside as he does now. They're going to enter turn 3 right now. Pascal Duker's challenging with less than 10 laps to go for the lead. Rudy DeVitt still defending on that outside line. Meanwhile, Fabian DeJean is closing up a little bit as well, bit by bit. He has the draft of those guys, but Pascal Duker's not making the move that lap, but he still has 8 laps to do it.
Yes, some really good racing at the moment. Fabian de Jong will have an opportunity. We haven't spoken about the draft much, Sean. The draft certainly plays a part at this track because of the long straightaway, surely.
Yeah, you could certainly draft that long straightaway produces good drafting opportunities. Dennis Garrison's doing it right now off of Neil Heckens, and you can see him suck up to him here on the long straight and gain a little ground. But Neil's getting off the corner just a little bit better than Dennis, and I think he's going to have trouble passing him here in the last part of the race.
Meanwhile, let's check in with one of the drivers that we've been watching a fair bit, and that's Joey Schmidt. So we'll get on to Joey Schmidt. He is currently running in 7th place, and he is in 7th place in the championship. He had a good run early, Ayrton, but at this point in time, he's fallen back a little bit, and the laps are running out. Meanwhile, at the front of this race, Rudy DeVitt, Pascal Dukas, I believe, is leading this race right now.
Yeah, Pascal Dukas managed to get a move on Rudy DeVitt last lap in turn 2, managed to secure it. Rudy DeVitt had a run on the front stretch, but chose to not take it. He just pushed Pascal Dukas on the front stretch, so perhaps he's planning on sitting behind, maybe doing a Daytona-style move, looking for the last lap, but he actually just had a bad run out turn 2. Maybe his tires are suffering because now he's in the grass of Fabian de Jong, letting Pascal Dukas get a little bit of fresh air.
Well, I tell you what, Fabian de Jong, just entering turn 3 there, was right on the bumper of Rudy DeVitt, so he is just keeping a watching brief at this point in time, but certainly looking very, very good. And we should mention that Maxim Ramstein in 4th place is way off these guys. He is 2.8 seconds back from the leader, and there's no one leader, there's virtually 3 leaders. They are all nose to tail in front of him. So the rest of the guys are losing out as these front 3, Ayrton, show what they're made of.
Yeah, Rudy DeVitt still looking. He has to finish ahead of Pascal Dukas because one position ahead of Fabian de Jong is not going to be enough to get a chance at that championship unless Fabian de Jong has a really bad run in the final race. So Rudy DeVitt, as you said earlier, has to look for this win and hope that Pascal Dukas sits between him and Fabian de Jong. They do have a lap car ahead of them. I believe that's the car of Henk Arendt. He's slowing down from the leaders. That's always good to see, letting them have their own race.
Well, that is really interesting. I do believe that may well have been the very first car pass under green or lap under green. There have been that many cautions that everybody's managed to stay on the lead lap or been laps down before, through pit stops and so on. So it looks like that was the very, very first car that was lapped in this race. Now, getting back to the matter at hand, Rudy DeVitt versus Pascal Dukas, Fabian de Jong sitting in the back. If I was Fabian de Jong, Sean, I'd be quite happy to just stay there because I can't lose my championship lead just by staying where I am.
Yeah, no reason to take a risk at this point. I mean, he's got his championship points intact here to get a podium finish. He should just, he also could be the fortunate recipient of some trouble amongst the top 2 in the last closing laps here of the race.
Well, that's right. Let's say he made a dive for the front. He is then under attack from the other 2, and it's a lot more risky defending a position than sitting behind, because bearing in mind Jarno Panakit, who was briefly in 4th place, just been overtaken by Maxim Ramstein. He must have made a mistake there because he is going backwards at a great rate of knots at this point in time. But anyway, this whole pack behind the top 3 are way behind and not really challenging Fabian de Jong. So Ed and I'd be really happy to stay where I am if I were him.
Yeah, and I believe Jarno Panicky actually hit the wall on the exit of turn 1, so that really set him to slow down on the straight. Max Ramstein and Tim Bye managed to get ahead of him, but it was a good run for Jarno Panicky. He managed to get up to 4th place, which is definitely good considering that his championship results have not been the best this season. I think he's sitting in about 9th place, but back up to the front, Rudy de Witt is right on the bumper of Pascal Duckers. Pascal Duckers sliding a little to the inside to defend his position, try to break the draft a little bit on these long straights.
Well, guys, a couple of things to mention really quick here is number 1, it looks like Rudy de Witt was foxing. He is preparing to make his move now. There are 3 laps left in this race. They'll be going into lap number 78 when they come by the start-finish line. The second thing to mention here is that I have completely forgotten the second thing. So forget about that. Let's stick with the action here. Rudy de Witt versus Pascal Duckers.
And they're all about evenly spaced at the moment. Fabian Jean still sitting right behind these guys. He's not really making any moves at the moment, but Rudy de Witt, he keeps on getting up to Pascal Duckers' bumper and then backing off, and getting up to him, making a mistake, backing off. So I think he's struggling to find a way around Pascal Duckers at the moment. He's doing a really good job at defending that 1st place position.
Indeed, he is, and he's shown all the race long that he had the pace to be up the front there. And Rudy de Witt must be thinking now as they come around turn number 3, they will be going into the second last, the penultimate lap of the race. So I would think, Ayrton, that if Rudy de Witt is going to make his move, can you wait till the last lap to make your move? I don't know.
He has a run now.
He's making his move right now. Go ahead.
He has a run on the inside. They're going to go too wide into turn 1. Pascal Duckers stuck on the outside in that orange car. Rudy de Witt in the number 8 car. And Pascal Duckers gets a really good run out of the corner. He managed to defend that position. Rudy de Witt went in a little too hard, slowed down on the exit. So he now is still stuck in that 2nd place position. Good driving from Pascal Duckers. And meanwhile, Fabian Jean decided to not make a move, still sitting behind these guys, patiently waiting. Perhaps he just wants that 3rd place finish, wants these guys to battle it out, or he's ready to pounce either of these guys, make another mistake. But they're coming around the 3rd corner for the 2nd to last time. They're heading into the last lap right now.
That's correct. And look at Fabian de Jong right now. Fabian de Jong has closed up a fair bit. He did that whilst the 2 in front of him were battling for position number 1, P1. And he closed right up. So at this point in time, they're single file, so he's fallen back again. But now it's all on the line. Can Rudy de Witt make up enough to get by Pascal Duckers? To me, Ayrton, it seems like Pascal Duckers is doing a great job here, and neither Rudy de Witt nor Fabian de Jong will catch him as they come up to turn number 3 in the final lap of this race. And
no, they make contact.
A spin. My God, Pascal Duckers managed to catch that. Did he catch enough to get to the end? And it looks like he has lost position. Was he touched by Rudy de Witt? I don't know. We'll have to get a replay of that.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I think Rudy de Witt did, and that was on the entry of turn 2. Rudy de Witt made contact with Pascal Duckers, causing him to spin out. He managed to save it, but then had a really slow recovery, and that makes Fabian de Jong the winner of this race, our 2nd 2-time winner and our championship leader. This is definitely gonna almost secure his championship, and that was a mistake by Rudy de Witt, really cost him.
Yeah, that was certainly a mistake. Rudy de Witt obviously was preparing to challenge into the last corner for the lead. Unfortunately, made contact with Pascal Duckers. Pascal did a fantastic job of holding that car on the black stuff there, Sean. He was gone for all money.
Yeah, he was. And but I just got to say, we talked about it just a few minutes ago. Well played by Fabian de Jong. Well played. Nice win. And all he had to do was sit and wait around. Well,
that's right. And a very, very patient from him. He did start to close up Ayrton into the the final couple of laps there. He closed up and looking like he might have threatened, but didn't try and make any moves. And as Sean just said, all he had to do was wait for a mistake up front, and it did happen, and he comes out the race winner. Rudy DeVitt did come out in second place, so that's not going to hurt his chances. But we will just have a look around the back to see if everybody has finished. It looks like most people have finished the race now, so we'll take a break and we'll come back, folks, with the full standings, and we'll do some race interviews as well. All right, folks, welcome back. We're back. We're going to start the race. 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 We Welcome back to the UGXshop.com 200, where we saw a final 20 laps of green flag racing and pretty exciting racing as well. They really put it on for us in that last few laps there, Sean. But why don't we take now the viewers through the standings, and we'll start with yourself and number one.
Yeah, and number 1 in the number 24, Fabian Dejean. Number 2 in the second place in the number 8, Rudy DeVitt. In the number 96 in third place, Pascal Dukers. And in fourth place in the number 3, Maxim Ramstein. In the number 8, fifth place, Tim Wygen. And in sixth place in the number 27, Jarno Patakit. In seventh place in the 00, Dennis Garrison. In eighth place in the number 41, Neil Heckens. And in ninth, the number 37, Kim van der Stikkelen. In the number 84, finishing in 10th place, Pascal de Burk. In 11th, the number 42 of Denny Rates. The number 72 in 12th place, Richard Cortland. And in 13th, in the number 31, Robert Witt. In the number 14, in 14th place, Eric Mulder with his favorite passenger, Scully. And in 15th, rounding out the 15th spot, in the number 43, Bob Van Katwijk. Richard, take it away.
And in 16th place, we had Josh Van Horn. 17th place, Mark Vergeres. 18th place, Robert De Roy, who had some really unfortunate moments in the race. In 19th place, Joey Schmidt. Really a bad finish for him by his own standards. In 20th place, Roy Visser. Also a bad finish for him by his standards. 21st place, we now come into the lap cars. 21st place was Henk Arendse. 22nd place, Johan Somers. 23rd place, Jeroen Ursem. 24th place, Nick Thyssen. 25th place, Victor Elsenaar. 26th place, Nano van der Poel. 27th place, Joost van der Stoep. 28th place, W.J. van den Brandt. And 29th and last place, W. Rensenbrink, who did not actually take the start, I believe. So that's the full standings. We do now, Sean, have the whole podium ready for interview. So we will bring in the third place getter, Pascal Dukers, and we'll get him to talk to we'll get you to talk to him.
Yes, let's get Pascal in here. Of course, third place and number 1 in our hearts. Pascal, how are you?
I'm fine.
So, boy, it was right there, wasn't it? And things just happened.
Yeah, accidents happen. It was really close, and we really fought hard for it. So, next time better.
Well, I gotta say, you did one tremendous job there in the closing stint of the race. We watched Rudy lead most of that race, and then you made a good move to get to the front. Did you save the car to get there to be able to make that move?
I just went flat out and gambled that I could hold them up in the end.
What would you learn most about this track? I'm assuming you've not run this track much except for maybe practicing. What did you learn most about running a track like this?
You really have to get your exits really right because of long straights, otherwise you're toast.
Well, unfortunate that things ended up like they did. Thought for sure you had a win there, but like I said in the opening here, you might have finished third, but you're first in our hearts, and glad to see you on the podium. Great job today, Pascal.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll go now to the second place getter, Rudy DeVitt. Rudy,
hi guys.
Hi, how are you there? Rudy, I want to talk to you particularly about that last lap. So obviously, you had been leading this race most of the way, and suddenly Pascal Ducas gets by you, and you have to work out in your mind how you're going to try and win the race from him. What was going through your mind going into that last lap?
Well, actually, I tried the lap before to pass Pascal into turn 1 because I had a better run out of turn 3, which I was really lucky because Pascal was really strong in turn 3 today. And the last lap I had a really decent turn 1, so I could close up behind his car. But as we approached turn 2, I suddenly saw Pascal slow down, and I realized I missed my braking point, and unfortunately hit him in the back, costing him the race. So I feel really bad about that.
Yeah, we saw that. We watched it on the TV cameras, and certainly didn't look like any intention on your part to hit him. But to his credit, he managed to catch the car.
Yeah, that was impressive.
When we thought he was gone we thought he was gone. You know.
Yeah. I saw him going sideways as well, and I felt really, really bad about that.
That's all right. Look, we've just spoken to Pascal. He's not bearing any hard feelings by the sound of it. He said he'll try and do better next time. So, look, congratulations on a second place. Really, I'm pretty sure you would have loved to have won that one because it would have got you closer in the championship. But it was not to be today. Congratulations on a second place, however, and thanks for talking to us.
Okay, thank you guys. I hope it wasn't too boring for you, the first bit with all the yellows.
Oh, it was plenty boring, but we got by.
Okay, thank you guys.
All right, well, we are going to bring in the winner of the race, Fabian de Jong, and Sean will get you to find out what he was thinking on that last lap.
Fabian, congratulations. Being there top of the podium. How do you feel today?
Yeah, thank you, and I feel really great. A little bit unexpected, but yeah, good result.
Well, I got to tell you, when you go back and listen to the race broadcast after this, I think you'll see that we called it. We just knew you were going to win that race.
Okay.
No, but really, what was going through your mind there that last 5 laps or so? Did you feel like you had a chance? I mean, were you really thinking about them making a mistake, or were you just happy to take third and go home?
Well, a mistake is very easy to make up here, so yeah, somewhere back in my mind it's always a possibility, but actually I was already finishing my third place. My main goal was to finish ahead of Tim, so yeah, but finished first.
Well, I'll tell you what, that last stint of the race was exciting. It was fun to watch. I realize there were a lot of cautions, and racers like to race, and that can be difficult on you guys. Did the cautions frustrate you?
Yeah, we actually with Joey, Ruud and Pascal, we made a little bet how much cautions there were, and I said 8, so I was right.
Well, then it's a double win for you today. Very good, very good.
Yeah.
So anybody you'd like to thank today on your big victory?
My teammates, because us 4 together made the setup, so without the setup we not be this fast as we were today. Well,
Fabian, one race to go, and what do you think? You ready to wrap this up?
Well, I extended my points lead, so I think when I finish in the top 10, the championship is done. Actually, already almost done. For that, I need to finish the next race. So,
have you turned any laps at Homestead yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, it sounds like you've got some work to do then. Congratulations once again. Wonderful to see you win the UGXshop.com 200 today, and we wish you the best of luck in the next race.
Yeah, thank you, and sorry for all the questions, and thank you for the broadcast.
Richard, back
right.
to you.
Okie dokie. Well, folks, that is it for this particular race. The championship point standings, I haven't done the math on some of the other drivers, but it's really easy to calculate that Fabian de Jong will still be leading this championship going into the final round at Homestead. So we will look forward to that. That will be we'll come and talk about that in a moment. Now, in closing, we obviously wish to thank a whole bunch of people and organizations. Firstly, we thank the organizers of this series, Neil Heckens, Roy Visser, Joop Willemsen, Dennis Garrison, and Jeroen Ursem. You guys do a great job in bringing this series to the viewers, and keep doing what you're doing. It's fantastic. We also thank iRacing.com, XSplit, Twitch TV, Audio Technica, and Ava Media for providing the hardware and software that we use for the broadcasts. We also thank YouTube for allowing us to broadcast live to their channel. Thanks also to the broadcast team for today, myself, Sean, Ayrton, and Giancarlo. Great job, guys. If you'd like to find out more about us, GSRC, our website is globalsimracingchannel.com. You can find our broadcast schedule there, along with some archived, all archived races and some race highlights as well. We are also on Facebook at facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel, and we're on Twitter at GSR Channel. The music is brought to us by Eric Ekholm. We thank you very much, Eric. Some great music you have there. If you want to listen to more of his music, you can find it not only here on GSRC, but in TV commercials, movie trailers, iTunes, and Spotify. If you do like the music, tell Eric where you heard it at Eric Ekholm. The next race in this series will be the final race of the series. It will be the Derek Spear Designs 200, and it will take place on May 18 at 8 o'clock in Central European time. It'll be at Homestead, Miami. So look forward to that one, May 18. It's going to be a great one. Further upcoming broadcasts that we have are the VSRA, the Virtual Sim Racing Association debut on May 4, which will be very, very soon, 9 p.m. Eastern, Montreal in the BMW Z4. And then we have a round of the EPS, the Enduro Pro Series, coming to you on May the 10th. That will be round 8, also at Montreal, where we will feature the HPD, the Corvette, and the McLaren. That's it from us today, folks. Thank you very much for viewing. Until then, race hard, race safely, and we'll see you on the track.